Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Lisa Mitrakin, and I come to you from It's Easy to Draw Art Academy. Today is a very special stream, not just because we're coloring Buffy, but because I have some teasers and news for you as well. Many of you already got an email that says that big things are coming to the Academy. I can't reveal all, but there will be some hints and tricks. In the meantime, hello, everyone who's joining. This is what we're coloring today. We are coloring Buffy, and there is a poll already happening in the live chat where I'm asking what you struggle with the most with portraits. So please drop your votes in that poll so I can direct my stream in that direction as I'm lecturing on this particular effect. Hello and welcome. We have some new people with us here today. We have some regulars with us today as well. This is the original reference image that we're working with. This was given to me by my private student, Dina. And the very first thing that I like to do when I'm working with portraits is turn them grayscale. On the actual printout page, which you all get this coloring page as a gift. The link is in the video description. Can you guys see the description for a live stream while it's live, or is it only available to you after publication? Please let me know in the live chat because I don't actually know. But I think you should be able to see the description. If that's the case, then the actual clickable link for this coloring page is the first thing there. If you can't see the description or can't click on the link, if you're watching on a TV screen, for instance, then you can simply scan the QR code that's above my head. Just point your phone with the camera turned on at that little QR code and it will take you to the page. So what are we starting with? Controlled Burn says, I'm watching at work, so I'm gonna lurk. No problem, no problem. Lurkers are welcome. You guys are always welcome. Alrighty, what am I starting with? I am starting my coloring page with a white charcoal pencil, and I'm working on toned paper. This is regular cardstock paper, nothing tricky here, nothing special, just regular cardstock paper. You can search for cardstock on Amazon. You can find cardstock in your local stores. And I think I have the materials list in the video description as well. So you guys all have access to it. But what I want you to notice is how rough and kind of scary it looks when we start with the white charcoal. Hi, Lisa and everyone. Hello, Ego Brain. Yes, the link is in the description on my iPhone. Awesome. Thanks for looking out, geezer dude. Alrighty, so white charcoal looks super patchy, so I like to bring in a Q-tip. I recently released a video on my channel about working with charcoal pencils, and I shared with you some blenders, some very cool blenders that you can use for such effects. But the most economical and easiest, the most accessible way to blend is simply with a Q-tip. Most of us have Q-tips laying around in our bathrooms, so just grab one and it works wonders. What it does is that it creates a very beautiful kind of a sfumato effect on our page immediately. And this is literally how I approach every single portrait that I make for myself or for my students. I apply the light source to the mid-tone color of my paper. And that one trick makes a huge difference in how your portraits come out. Let's take a quick look at our poll. Our poll says, what is the biggest struggle? What is your biggest struggle with portraits? Likeness, skin tone, lighting, or it takes too long. And because we only have a couple of dozen people with us right now, we don't have that many votes yet, but as the stream goes on, we'll get more people voting here. But right now, with just 25 of you having voted, we have skin tones in the lead. So I'll definitely cover that topic a lot as we're working on this. So one major thing that hello, hey, Kai does art, welcome to the show. No worries about being late, you can always watch the beginning afterwards, but we are just getting started. We simply applied our light source and we are now blending it with a Q-tip. Now, the most common question that I get on such projects, of course, is can I do this on white paper? And the reason that's the most common question is because white paper is most accessible. Everyone has white paper. Anyone who has a printer has a stack of white paper. Most coloring pages are printed on white paper. Most coloring books are published on white paper. So it makes perfect sense why that question comes up. And of course you can, but consider what you're seeing on the screen right now. Like we already immediately established our light source in a very natural way. The light hits her face from here, and we literally added the light onto her face, immediately creating this three-dimensional result. Can it be done on white paper? Absolutely. But we have to work backwards. On white paper, we will add the tan color, and that's what I call underpainting. You've seen me do that a lot as well, and actually we'll do underpainting on this project as well. But we don't have to do as much of it because we already, thank you for the hearts, we already have an undertone. So professional artists work this way. If you want to level up the way you color or draw, this is the first thing that you should do is switch to toned paper. Any tone whatsoever. When it comes to skin tones, I recommend warm toned paper. This is going to be in full color. The timing of this is crazy because I recently started rewatching Buffy. Oh, that is so cool. Wow, I love it. The universe is all aligned with us. We too started watching Buffy thanks to this project, actually. I started working on this project with my private student, Dina, and she loves Buffy. She's crazy about Buffy. And I started working on this coloring. Actually recorded it for her to teach her some advanced blending techniques with colored pencils. And then we decided to share this project with the world. So everyone thank Dina for making this possible. But I wasn't familiar with Buffy very much. Like I knew about the show. I may have seen parts of episodes in the past, but I didn't really know much about the show. So obviously I had to do my homework before this live stream. I'm almost all the way through season 1 and I'm completely hooked, completely. So it's quite awesome. Ego Brain, I've never watched it, but have thought about watching it recently. I loved the movie when I was a little kid. It's super fun. It's a little bit campy. It starts out a little bit slow. I was told that season 2 is the best. So I can see it's already, thank you, Dina. Yes. Susan, thank you for thanking Dina. I can see how it's ramping up very quickly. And it's actually, I found out I'm a huge fan of Firefly and Serenity. In fact, my dog is named River after River Tam from Firefly. A huge, huge fan. I know Firefly by heart. I can recite every single episode. And I discovered that it's the same writer and creator. It's the same like director person mastermind behind Buffy, so it makes sense that I'm enjoying Buffy as well. Buffy's not the one with Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, right? No, though it is actually very similar. It's very much like the Scooby-Doo mysteries. Every episode they solve a crime, and every episode is a little bit like they're teenagers in high school, so it's what you can expect, but it's loads of fun. I think 3 and 4 is when Angel starts. Yes, Angel is developing into quite a character. He's not quite so dominant yet. And on our picture, I think that's actually Angel in the background. Those of you who are Buffy fans, please let me know. And when Dina joins us later today, she will certainly confirm this. I believe this cover image she got from an actual season cover art. And the main character, of course, is Buffy, so we're paying a lot more attention to her. But the vampire behind her, I think, is Angel, and he's mostly in shadow. So that's also important for character development. When we color or when we draw, when we add pigment to paper to create beautiful art, we always tell a story. Nightbot, thank you. Nightbot is sharing every single notification that I told him to share all at once. No manners. No manners from the computer. But there are some really, really good links that are popping up in the live chat. If you are watching this and you're not in the live chat, you're missing out. First of all, you're missing out on the chat. And second, you're missing out on all the cool links you can actually click, including the link for this page that you can download and color along with me. And the way that the page is delivered, it has the value scale version of the same finished piece next to it. You can see a little bit of it on my screen here. And what a value scale render of an image is, it's like a vector graphic that shows you the full range between black and white. So I actually printed mine on a smaller scale. That's as small as my Buffy is, barely bigger than my face. And that's how you guys will receive it as well. Of course, you can print it in different sizes, but I found that even this tiny version took me 3 hours to complete. So if you print it twice as large, it's going to take even more than that. Madam Lori, welcome to the show. Let's see, Kay. Oh my gosh, Buffy page. Yes, yeah, click on that link or that QR code above me. You can scan that and go grab your own Buffy coloring page. In fact, all of you who are new to my channel, who are new to this universe called It's Easy to Draw, who are new to the Academy, every single YouTube video that I release, I started this ceremony in last October. Every single video that I've released since Halloween has a free coloring page attached to it. So always check for these QR codes in the video and for the video description as well, because usually that's the very first link. I hope you guys are not hearing background noise. My microphone is supposed to be very good at noise canceling, but I'm right next to the garage and we have someone working on the boiler right now. So I hope you guys can't hear that. I also have 2 dogs with me, so hopefully they will remain well behaved and not bark. But if crazy things start happening, it's not vampires, it's the Boiler Man. Hello, everyone. Hello, Brian. Welcome. I'm here, but it's sketchy. What's sketchy? Oh, internet is acting up. No worries, no worries. You can always watch the rerun. So what I'm doing right now is step 2. In step 1, we added the light. And in step 2, we're adding now the shadow. And this step 2 is actually what you will have to go through if you want to work on white paper. You just start with this, but it's going to take a few more layers. I went on my mid-tone beige color with white for the highlights, and now I'm coming in with dark brown for my underpainting, what I call it. But if you're working directly on white, this really dark brown may be a little bit too harsh, but maybe the Boiler Man is a vampire. It's possible. It's possible. River will tell me if he is. River really hates vampires. It's quite hilarious. My dog, River, she hangs out with us while we watch movies in the evening, and she really, really hates vampires. It makes it difficult to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Every time there's a vampire on the screen, she goes crazy as she tries to rescue us from it. Any kind of animals we watched, she knows I'm talking about her. Good girl, Pookie. We watched the episode where they were at the zoo with the hyenas. Oh gosh, she did not like that at all. So let's hope that the Boiler Man is not a vampire, because then we're all in trouble. And what you're seeing on the screen right now, guys, is in real time. It's not sped up. You will see like a wipe or a cross dissolve every once in a while. And that's when I skip past a part where I'm just shading for too long. As I mentioned, this entire coloring took 3 hours, but I run my live streams for 2 hours. So I try to cut down these recordings to exactly 2 hours to speed it up. However, part of the news that I was about to share with you guys is that live streaming sessions are going to improve in the future, in a very near future. I thought you were making a Firefly reference, River. Well, River is named after River Tam. Yes, my dog River is named after River Tam, and she does live up to the name. She is very smart and very strange and freakishly strong. So she definitely is named correctly. Dina, you made it. We were already talking about you. Everyone was thanking you for getting me hooked on Buffy. and also for sharing this project with everyone. I already explained that I did this recording just for you as our private project, but then it got a little bit bigger than we expected, and we decided to share this with the world. I think last time I watched Buffy was 30 something years ago. Well, you will definitely enjoy it even today. Like I said, it starts out a little bit cheesy, a little bit campy. But if you stick with it, like by episode 3 or 4, you'll be super hooked. It's adorable. Lisa, is that toned paper? Yes, it is. This is like a mid-tone cappuccino color. And the paper that I'm working on is just regular cardstock paper from a craft store, from an art store. I probably have links to the materials in the video description. If not, I will update it after the show. But you guys know I love my cardstock paper. The other kinds of paper that will work great here is, of course, the classic Strathmore tan. Those of you who have that, you're already set for making this portrait. And also my new favorite, a Strathmore Artigan, which is a recycled paper. And that's what I've been working on a lot lately. It comes in really cool colors and textures. For skin tones, we generally, if we're doing this in full color, if you're doing this in grayscale, Lori, if you're working on a portrait with charcoals, for instance, you're very good with black and white charcoal work, completely on a roll. Lori is another private student of mine, everyone. Say hello. I have 2 of them here in the show with us today. That's wonderful. And I think Jessie is with us too, my third private student. Right now, I have 5 private students, and I have closed my doors to new signups for the rest of the month, so that offer has ended. But I will open my doors to private students again in July, so make sure to stay tuned. And it's going to work a little bit differently. Many of you have gotten an email yesterday saying that big changes are coming to the Academy. And many of you wrote to me back trying to get some secrets privately, and you got nothing because I can't reveal too much. It will ruin the surprise. But the surprise is coming around July 4th, probably a couple of days prior. So around July 1st or 2nd, there will be a big, huge event, bigger than ever. And it's particularly important that you join the Academy before then, because then you can stay up to date with all the news and updates. So the link to the Academy is always up above my head on the screen. And once you join, you don't even need to join a course. Just join the Academy, and that will put you on the mailing list. And then you will get all the notifications and the instructions, because what's coming is absolutely the biggest thing that I've ever done for my Academy. There will be more content. We're moving. No, not at all. You don't need to be saving up. Well, maybe a little bit. There will be new content for sure. So it's more important to join so that you get on the mailing list and get the notifications. I want to tell you more, but I'm not allowed to. I'm not the only one who's working on this project. My team, my lovely assistant, tech support, had me promise that I won't tell you guys too much because it's too big. It's too big. But one of the things that will be happening is more of me for you in the Academy. There will be more live shows, which will now be happening in the Academy itself. One more reason to join. There will be monthly webinars, at least 2 monthly webinars, live events, live shows, live Q&As, live reviews of your actual work. So YouTube is no longer going to be enough. I will continue releasing my videos on YouTube. I don't know if I will continue streaming on YouTube because I only split so many ways, but I will be a lot more present in the Academy itself. And that alone is worth joining for, because then you can ask me questions all the time, and it's going to be more like working with me one-on-one. Additionally, private tiers are going to be getting an upgrade, and there's going to be a big, huge button that will say inquire about private tutoring, so that I can tailor my lessons specifically to you. But as always, I will not be able to take on, to start with, more than 10 students a month. So it's going to be first come, first serve. test. So again, make sure that you're joined, that you're in the academy. We are actually moving to a new platform. We're moving off Thinkific because it's super glitchy, but the transition will be buttery smooth for all of you who are already enrolled. All the same links will work. You will have access to all of your courses. Nothing changes. So it's an upgrade and not a move. I know everyone hates changes, and that's always scary. But this change is actually very good and very exciting, and will make your lives easier and will get you more content faster, and a lot more of it. Private lessons with her are amazing. Thank you, Dina. Thank you from my private students. Lisa's tech support is so good. He even cooks. Yes, Geezer knows tech support. He even cooks. That is true. Alrighty, so look at how long it's taking me to shade in what I call the underpainting layer. So we did the light and now we're doing the shadow. And I'm working with colored pencils, and specifically I'm working with watercolored pencils. If you guys haven't seen this already, but just a few hours before going live, I released a video on this watercolor set, which you've already seen me work with. We did Zendaya in this. I agree. Privyat lessons are amazing with Lisa. Thank you. Thank you, my other private student. So if you haven't seen a video on what could possibly go wrong with watercolor pencils, please watch it after this live stream because it's very relevant. It's the same brand that I'm working with right now. And what I talk about in that video is how this booklet that comes with it is a total and complete lie and will actually get you to ruin your art piece if you follow the instructions there. It's not just they're not friendly instructions or not easy to follow, it's that it's actually really bad advice what's in there. And the way that I show it in the video is that I actually put it to the test. I actually do exactly every single thing that they say to do, and it fails miserably. But separately, I do it my way and come up with a beautiful, flawless portrait, and I teach you how to do that as well. So make sure to watch that video after the live stream. Don't leave the stream to watch it though, because it's a pre-recorded video. It's going to be there forever. You're not gonna miss out on this. This, however, is a live recording, is a live session. So grab it when you can to get my attention to ask me questions, and feel free to ask me questions right now, you guys. We're live. Many of you are in the live chat. Don't be shy. Many tutorials and other brands give the same advice, and I spent many years just thinking I couldn't use them right. Okay, yes, that's so true. I was happy to hear several people report that back to me, that not just this brand, Castle Arts, but other watercolor brands just don't give accurate instructions, and many people are getting these tools and they think that they're doing something wrong, and you are doing something wrong, but not because you're incapable, but because you were given wrong information. So to find out the right information, follow that video. And in this stream on this Buffy coloring, I will also demonstrate what I mean and how to do it correctly. So right now I'm working with watercolor pencils, but I'm working with them dry. There are two types of colored pencils. Well, there are many types of colored pencils. There's oil, there's wax, etc. But within the types of colored pencils, there's dry and there's watercolor. And they act exactly the same way on paper, except that with watercolor pencils, if you add water to them, they suddenly start to smudge and get brighter, just as watercolor paint would. But when you add water to regular dry pencils, like regular Prismacolors or Black Widows or Faber-Castells, nothing happens. That's the only difference. So you can use watercolor pencils as just dry, and that's perfectly fine. You're not missing out on anything. You're not ruining everything. If you like a particular color, you can use it. And you can mix and match your brands. Trust me, it's a lot of lines and hard to learn. I have all the books. Lisa's formula is easy and straightforward. Thank you so much. Madam Lori is, of course, referring to my drawing courses. If you are not yet a member of the Academy, make sure to join. The link is above, the link is in the description. It's easy. I'm really easy to find. Everything that I own is called It's Easy to Draw. So that's the Academy. That's me on Instagram. That's me on Facebook. That's me on Reddit. We have our own subreddit now called It's Easy to Draw. That's me on YouTube. So make sure to participate everywhere. But one of the cool things that's going to happen with the Academy is that a lot of these communities will merge. We'll have a beautiful new community. Well, we already do. It's just not released to the world yet, but I can't say too much. I can't say too much. But it's going to be a great big party, and I can't wait. That's why I could really release it now, but I want it to be like a 4th of July big release, big party thing, fireworks and everything. And we'll probably do like a fireworks coloring to go along with it to celebrate, something shiny and sparkly. The brown pencil, walnut brown light, just wouldn't go dark enough for me after activating. I switched to Caran d'Ache Sapra colors and was much happier with it. That's excellent advice. Adina also colored this picture. I mean, this is her idea and her project and her baby, and she actually drew her own line work and then colored it. But she has some amazing tips. Dina is a super talented artist and colorist, and once you guys start mingling in the community, you will start meeting all of these talented students of mine. I didn't notice for a while, were you after the name changed? I didn't notice for a while you after the name changed to It's Easy to Draw. I clicked on the video and it was like, wait, I know her. Oh, yes. Previously, my channel was called, I guess it was just my name, Lisa Mitrokhin. But now everything is It's Easy to Draw. My entire life is dedicated to my Academy. So this YouTube channel is just a tiny corner of what I do. So if you really like the way I teach and you like the information that I present and all the material that I draw for you, and would like a more structured lesson, then here on YouTube we're just all hanging out, we're friends, we're chatting, we're talking about movies, I'm reading comments. But if you want like professionally structured lessons with me, and lots of them, join the Academy. It's just super easy. Follow the link, subscribe. Supra Burnt Sienna was my replacement to the Castle Arts Walnut Brown Light. I love these pencils. This is looking amazing already. Jessie, another private student of mine. It's a party. Thank you. Hello all. Finally made it. Thank you for coming. Oh my God, yes. Already just working with light and shadow is such an incredible start. And of course, like I mentioned, on your free download page, you all have the value scale illustration on the left. You can see a little bit of it ghostly there on the left. I shadowed it out because it's a little bit distracting. I didn't want the black and white image to be too overwhelming, so I covered it. But you all have this image to play with, to download and to color. And I just realized that I'm not actually, the reason I looked all lost and confused, it's not because the Boiler Man turned out to be a vampire. It's because I realized that my chat isn't popping up on the screen above me, so we have this big, huge empty space above my head. And I don't know why that is. I will have to ask tech support about it after the show. We're going to ignore it for now and move on with the show. One of the things that I do in my teaching is I blend the boundaries between coloring and drawing. In my opinion, and I do know a little bit about art. I only started making art when I was 3 years old, and I've only been making it my entire life, and I've only been teaching it for 10 years, and I only own one of the most famous academies online. So I do know a little bit about art. And in my professional opinion, the difference between coloring and drawing is negligible. In my drawing courses, I teach what I call the drawing pyramid, and that explains the value stack of things that are important in the order in which we apply them. And on the bottom of the drawing pyramid is always the sketch. We start with a brief outline or sketch, some kind of a markup of where everything goes. Then we proceed with fine tuning it in various ways until we get to the final detail on top. And that's literally what you guys do when you color a coloring page. All you have is my original sketch, and that's your very first bottom line of the pyramid. You already have that. Some people don't like sketching. Some people want to focus just on the details and the color and the shading. And it's very difficult to focus on these things if your sketch isn't perfect. If you have a drawing that's a little bit lopsided, that you're not happy with, that doesn't represent the likeness of your character, then it's very difficult to concentrate on things like light and shading. And that therefore many students don't improve very quickly or quickly enough, or don't improve at all. It's because they're always stuck on that sketching stage. You may not be in a place in your life right now where you want to spend time perfecting your sketches. You may want to perfect step 2, 3, and 4 of the pyramid. And that's where coloring comes in. Like, adult coloring is no longer about filling in the spaces between the lines. It has leveled up into actually making professional art. So for me, the line is very blurry. I think all of my colorists are also artists. Okay, let me just check on the chat here. And by the way, today we are running ads on the show. Sorry about that, because we didn't reach our goal last time. And we don't have a goal today, but I thought we'd take a day off and just celebrate. But I do most definitely appreciate super chats. So if you feel like throwing me a super chat, any little bit helps. As you can see, I make an ungodly amount of content, and I spend an ungodly amount of money on art supplies. Like this piece alone finished that set. I have to buy 3 more sets now to continue. So I do put a lot of time and money into this channel, and every little bit helps. So if anyone feels like throwing me a super chat, I will not complain about that. Oh my God, thank you so much, Jesse. Woohoo! Thank you. Every little bit helps. So back to the drawing and coloring thing. For those of you who freehand draw, this is the same approach. This is what I call ghost shading. And in fact, one of the things, I'll give you one other thing that's coming to the Academy. There is a new course that's coming, and it's called, I don't know, can I tell them what it's called? Maybe nobody will hear. It's called Steady Hand Masterclass, and it will be available in just 3 weeks from now. And in that class, I teach the ghost shading technique in depth, and we practice actually steadying your hand with sketching and shading and building 3-dimensional shapes. And I think it's a very powerful foundation for everything, for drawing and coloring. Like I keep saying, in my mind, there is no difference. You're applying pigment to the page to create beautiful 3-dimensional looking compositions in a 2-dimensional format. You're making art. And you're putting your own heart and soul into it. You are absolutely making art. You are absolutely an artist. So it always breaks my heart to hear people who are only practicing adult coloring saying things like, I'm not an artist, I'm just a colorist. I'm like, are you kidding me? You are absolutely an artist. You are making this beautiful, amazing art from your heart, from your mind, from your passion. I'm just here to provide the line work to speed things up for you. The vampire in the garage might be a spy. He might be. I love how he graduated from being the boiler man to just being the vampire. The vampire in the garage. Yes, colorists are artists, says Madam Lori. The lines may be there, but woohoo! Thank you, Madam Lori, for the super chat. The lines might be there, but a skilled colorist can take the lines and slay them and make them yours. Absolutely beautifully put. Absolutely beautifully put. Catalina is an artist. Dina's pet. Yes. We need a sticker that says that. I can make that happen. I'm going to make a note. Stickers. I will see if I can add stickers to the webinars in the new academy. That would be loads of fun, especially if we can have our own private stickers. That would be super cool. So more coloring pages, more demos, more free demos. All of that is coming to the academy. So make sure to join. And those of you who are new to my program, who are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I know it doesn't work all the time, but I'm pretty consistent. I usually release one video a week, and I usually stream twice a month. And when I do stream, I stream on Tuesdays at noon. So it's pretty easy to follow along with me. That would be awesome, the stickers. She takes her overfloof duties very seriously, says Dina. Alrighty, we're coming up on, let's see, what is my timestamp here? I'm at about half an hour on my recording, so actually I'm closer to an hour in real life on. Dina, how long would you say it took you to complete this step? Just the white and the brown underpainting. For me, it took close to an hour, because notice how precise my shading is, and not everyone's shading is going to be this meticulous, and that's fine because we are working actually with watercolor pencils. With regular dry pencils, you do want to be this precise. I described shading to one of my private students as thread count the other day. We all know about sheets and thread count. You know that you can get like about an hour. So same. It took Dina about an hour to get to this stage, and her coloring style is very similar to mine. Same level of precision, if not even a notch higher. Sometimes she sends me photos of her work, and I'm like, wow, she actually outdid me on this project, and it makes me so happy when my students do something that's even better than what I did. Can't make a teacher happier than that. Anyway, what was I talking about? I had like 3 threads going about in my head. Maybe a bit more because I was stopping and pausing, right? Because you were following a video, so probably a bit more. Thread count. Okay, so we all know sheets and thread count. Imagine like a really rough and artisanal linen sheet, or like an actual canvas. You can see all the threads. They're really big, and the fabric is rough, and you can see the individual threads. And that's what most people shade like when they just start shading, when they just start working with colored pencils, and that's perfectly fine. But we can fine tune it. We can make it a little bit lighter, a little bit closer together with every single stroke. And then, you know, you get something like cotton sheets, and then you get something like silk sheets, and then you get it to the pro level where you have like this micro million thread count, and the sheets are really expensive and really luxurious. That's what we want in our shading with dry colored pencils. With watercolored pencils, it doesn't actually matter, because our next step is going to be to bring in water and kind of, you know, blend everything. But the trick is, after the water layer, we do have to come in with more detail. And in that case, you need your high thread count again for all the beautiful detail. So in general, you do want to practice your shading. Here it comes. We're coming in with water. Don't be scared of this step. I know it's very intimidating because it does not look good. Brian, thank you so much for the super chat. You guys are amazing. I put all of your super chats to a very good use, as you can see from the amount of content that I produce and the amount of materials that I use. Like every week I order something from Amazon for the studio. So it does go a long way. You know, if I was a digital artist, it would be certainly a lot more economical, but we all know how quickly our electric sharpeners eat our pencils. Speaking of which, I bought a new electric sharpener with all of your donations last week as well. Thank you, everyone. It was a $30 sharpener, and I'm really happy with it. It's one of those smart ones that the pencil goes in on its own and then comes out on its own. And then you can also adjust the sharpness of the tip. If you don't want it super sharp, you can make it more rounded. Really good upgrade, and only possible because of you guys. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. So every time we do something new and different and scary, like adding water to our pencil drawing, I like to start with the areas that don't matter as much. I know it's really tempting to start everything with the most interesting part, which is the face of our main character. But when we start something new is usually when we also mess up the most because we're timid, our hand may be shaky, we may be a little bit insecure, we may be like still testing things, maybe adding too much water or not enough water. So just start with the background. Start with the part that you know will in the end be mostly black anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And that's what I'm doing here as well. I start with the background and then all the darkest areas. And you can see how often this part I'm not even speeding through or cutting through or anything. Again, this entire session is in real time, not sped up. But notice how often my brush goes off the screen and then comes back. Every time the brush goes off the screen, it's when I dip the brush in the water. Let's see. Black Orchid says, I use Faber-Castell, Albrecht Dürer. They are way more pigmented. I need to try out Castle Arts. Seem less scary to try. Castle Arts are incredible pencils for beginner colorists. If you're just starting to work with colored pencils, Castle Arts are excellent. And also for people who don't like the super intense pigment of pencils such as Prismacolor. Prismacolor can be intimidating. It's very, very intense pigment, and not everyone enjoys that. Especially if you're just learning to do very subtle effects like skin tones, it can be overwhelming. So I highly recommend Castle Arts for that. And there's so many different Castle Arts sets. If you go on Amazon, and well, the link to this set is probably in the video description. Oh, thank you, Susan, for the super chat. Yay! The regular basic dry colored pencils of Castle Arts. Oh, they are popping up above my head. Okay, I'm just blind. I'm sorry. The chat is popping up on the screen. All good. So the regular ones are great, and the watercolors also are very, very good. It's just that they come with these instructions that are not actually accurate. And in fact, make art, not dinner. I love it. I love it. Dinner, fortunately, we made enough food last night that tonight we're having leftovers, so I can run a little bit longer on this show and not have to run off to make dinner. So that's good, planning ahead. But the Castle Arts, now that I think of it, the Castle Arts instructions on their regular dry pencil brand is also a little bit on the conservative side. They're just basically telling you start light and keep adding darker shadows, and that's fine. I find that they work both ways. You can work with darker to lighter, and you can add other brands to it. Of course, they can't say that in their pamphlet because they can only promote themselves, but that's what you have, instructors for and YouTube creators for, to tell you things that brands can't tell you for legal reasons or for marketing reasons. But Castle Arts are very, very friendly with other brands, very good to mix. So, and they're affordable. They're not super cheap, but they're certainly a lot more affordable than Prismacolor or Faber-Castell. And I find their quality to be quite good. Castle Arts have a beautiful skin tone set. Yes, I have two of them. The one that we're working with right now is the Portrait Watercolor. I also have the 24 pencil portrait set, which I did a video on a few years ago. I'm probably due for a new one on that. And I think there is a separate one that's actually called Skin Tones. Lori, please let me know which one you meant. But they have a lot. And if you go to the Castle Arts website, they have even more there than they have on Amazon. Very, very cool pencils. It's not watercolor kind, but I really, really like the Harmonious Castle Arts set. I use them with other colored pencil sets often because the color range is really unique, like the booster set for any set. I don't have that one, but I think I've gotten enough super chats already to afford it. So that will probably be my next purchase. Thank you guys. And again, thank you everyone who's dropping super chats. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we don't have We don't have a goal today or anything. I don't actually like begging for super chats, but I do really, really like them because they make my life easier. And it's also just very pleasant receiving presents from you guys. So speaking of presents, remember that I have one for you. Just scan the QR code above my head or clink. That's right, clink the downloadable link below to get this coloring page of Buffy with the value scale next to it so that you too can achieve this beautiful portrait. But look what the water did here. It's scary. It's even scary for me. Like, I love working with watercolor pencils, and I've done this many, many times in my life over the years, and I teach this technique, but it's still very scary because the paper, no matter how thick your paper is, like cardstock paper is pretty durable. Strathmore paper is very durable, and it does bulge. It does get wavy immediately. So I often even add more tape to my paper to hold it down. But after you complete this layer of water, just let it sit. Depending on how much water you added, for 3 minutes, no more than 3 minutes, and it will be completely flat again. I'm surprised at how the paper just straightens out. Of course, I can't speak for every brand of paper. If you use regular printer paper, probably it won't straighten out. That's going to be a little bit too ruined. Super chats are good. Commercial interruptions are not. Sorry about that. Today we are running ads because last time we didn't get enough super chats, and that was the deal. We had a goal and we didn't reach it. So today there are ads. If you guys want, I can set a new goal, and we can see if next live stream can be ad free as well. Right now we are at $23 in super chats. If we get 50 again, then next time I will do a show without ads. And of course, if you really want to see content without ads, join the Academy, because all the webinars that I will be running there will be ad free. Of course, it's my own Academy. I run it myself. I own it. I have a team of people supporting it, and no one tells me what to do, so I don't have to run ads. And of course, I wouldn't subject you guys to ads because I also hate them. And YouTube runs on ads, unfortunately. If I don't show ads, they don't show my videos to people. So that's I'm kind of a slave to the ads on this platform. So here on the face, notice that I left, like I said earlier, I left the most important part of the most important character for last, because all this time that I was adding, well, we tried. We're only halfway through the show. Don't be a wet blanket. We may have more people join, more people who will give a donation. But again, I wanted this stream to be more relaxed and not press you guys with all of that business stuff. Just have fun and color and chat. Because, I need a day off too. I've been working really hard putting this Academy upgrade together. Both tech support and I are pretty exhausted at this point. We stay up every night. We've been working on this for 3 months now, this upgrade, and a handful of you, of select few, have already gotten a sneak peek, but you're not allowed to speak. And I know that some of you are in the live chat. Shh, it's a secret. We can't tell anyone. I'm trying really hard to keep my mouth shut, but I'm so excited about this. It's going to be the best thing that I've ever done for my Academy and for you guys, and I hope that it delivers the punch that I'm expecting it to deliver. Because it's going to make everyone's life a lot more fun in the school. I pay for YouTube Premium so I can avoid ads. I do as well. I pay for YouTube Premium so I don't see ads on anyone else's channel. I think it's the only way to live. But I still drop super chats on my favorite shows. I also have tutors myself. Somebody asked me the other day if I even understand what it's like to take lessons, which was a very odd question. Josie, thank you. We got another super chat and a broken cracked crayon. Love it. And I have a ton of tutors. I take lessons from everyone. I think joining an actual program is the only way to learn something quickly. to get you on your feet so that you can move on and do it yourself, or continue tutoring. I have a private video coach. I've been working with the same video coach for a year now. I have a climbing coach. I've taken up climbing recently. My dog has a coach. I have a business coach. I have multiple academies that I'm enrolled in myself. None of them are art because I am my own art academy. I've already paid for art school. But every single skill that I practice and perfect, I have a coach for. I actually pay for courses full price, and I'm enrolled in many, many programs myself. And I'm also getting a lot out of it. Like, I also notice what works and what doesn't work in other schools, in other academies, and I apply it to ours so that I can constantly improve your guys' experience as well. Um, Woohoo! Geezer dude! I think that pushed us over the ledge, right? We got 10 and 20, right? Alrighty. Whether we got there or not, I'm declaring it official. Next stream, no ads. The people have spoken. How long will we have a downtime when the move happens? No downtime at all. No downtime at all. Everyone who is already in the academy will just magically appear in the new place, and there will be a crossover time. All the links will still work. Everything will be the same. You will just see a new and improved picture. So there's no downtime at all. Thank you, tech support, for making all of this possible. And for the new people, they won't even know the difference. Everyone who will be joining the academy for the first time, they will just follow the link and they will end up there. But for all of you who are enrolled, there will be no downtime whatsoever. And that's part of the excitement, is that it's going to be buttery smooth. Okay, Lisa, the rest of us are going to have to give you our day jobs in order to keep up with you all. You are very generous with all the content you provide us. Thank you, Susan. Yes, one other comment that I got, well, one other comment that I get quite often is, Lisa, you produce too much content. I can't keep up. And it's like, it's bittersweet, because obviously I want to produce a lot of content to please as many of my members as possible. But I also don't want to overwhelm you guys, which is why in the new academy, there's going to be a really cool archive section, where, like, if you missed something, you can just go back and look at it at your own leisure, and everything is categorized very nicely. And of course, you get access to everything that you have access to forever. So if you are enrolled in something, then that something belongs to you forever and ever. You know, if you're hanging out in the community, I will not remove anything from the community every time I post a new page. It will just stay there forever. Every time I upload an uncut full recording of something, it will stay there forever as well. And that will make it easier for people to pick and choose what they want to participate in. Because honestly, it's probably impossible to participate in everything all the time at my speed. Though some people are keeping up and beyond, like Dina, the private student who made this video possible, moves even faster than I do. Like, I can barely keep up with her. So everyone has their own pace, and that's perfectly fine. And that's what I'm trying to achieve in my academy, is to cater to everyone at their own pace. So if you miss a live event, it doesn't matter, because they're not dependent one on top of the other. So if you miss one or two, who cares? Just join when you can. Alrighty, so here is where the magic happens. I let my paper dry for 3 minutes after I applied water to it. Of course, I cut that part out of the recording, so we are not sitting around literally watching paint dry. But my paper returned to perfectly taut and smooth again. And, I actually run my fingers over it. Visually, you can see if your paper is dry or wet. So once it looks dry enough, I run my fingers over it, and it feels a little bit chalky, but it doesn't smudge. And that's another really cool thing about watercolor pencils that many people overlook, is that if you do it my way, with adding water now after the underpainting stage and letting that dry, it also locks the pigment in a way that you can't smudge it. Because smudging is a big problem with a lot of pencils and with a lot of brands, regardless of how good the brand is. Like Prismacolor smudge like crazy. They're my favorite brand of all times. But I have to be very careful, and that's why you always see me start my drawings from the top left corner. and then move to the bottom right corner because I'm right-handed. I don't want to smudge anything. And even though as artists, we always tell you, you know, paint like a French painter with your hand outstretched and everything, that's certainly true for freehand drawing with charcoal or for painting with oil paints. But when we're working on this fine detail with pencils, absolutely, I drag my hand on the page. Are you kidding me? No way. Everyone drags their hand on the page. We just tell you to do it the hard way because we can. But the truth is, everybody drags their page on the hand, even if you have your station set up all very nicely. You know, after several hours of working on something, you are not gonna have that whole wrist outstretched and be able to get this level of detail. So smudging is a problem for everyone. But with watercolor pencils, if you do this step and you do it correctly, then smudging is no longer a problem. Like right now, I can go straight to working on her face, and I'm dragging. You can see on the screen, I'm actually dragging my hand over the background, and nothing is getting smudged. It's very, very cool. And now over the dry layer, we're adding all of our color detail. So the approach is very similar to what we do with dry pencil. And somebody very astutely pointed that out on the last show. Last live stream, we also worked with the same brand colored pencils, and we did a coloring of Zendaya. And somebody said, it's basically the same approach as with dry pencils, isn't it? And I'm like, yes, it is. It's literally that. Watercolor pencils only require really one big boost of watercolor, and that's it. But the difference is that watercolor layer provides certain upgrades to your process, right? It allows for one, that no smudging thing that we just talked about. It speeds up the process of the background because even though I shaded everything very meticulously, you don't have to. It's a very difficult habit to break. I already shade this way. So even in the video that I released earlier today, you will see that when I was trying to follow their instructions, I had to change the way that I shade to match what they are demonstrating in the booklet so that we can actually test their theory properly. TT, thank you for the super chat. Oop, that comment was supposed to be a super chat. Oh, the previous comment. Oh no, I missed it. I look forward to this all month. I have been sick for the last few weeks. I am so sorry. I hope you're feeling better. I am on my way home from the doctor. I will listen on my way home, but I hope you guys have a great time. How sweet and considerate. Mwah. Sending healing vibes to TT. Thank you so much for tuning in on the way from the doctor. I hope you got good news, and I hope you feel better soon. And this recording will be waiting for you when you get home. Of course, just start from the beginning and feel free to drop a comment. I see that a lot of people rewatch these shows and drop me comments as if they're speaking with me live. Keep doing that, guys. That's awesome. I do respond to them all. As soon as I see them, I respond to them. So, okay, the benefits of watercolor, right? The entire approach is basically the same, but we introduced that one step with blending the underpainting stage. So we get no smudging. We're going to count the benefits. No smudging. Speeds up the process because you don't actually have to shade very meticulously like I do. You can just kind of shade it in and then add water. Dina, a little gift from Catalina, the Supreme Overflow. Thank you so much. I have never gotten a super chat from a plushie before. It's my first. I feel honored. Thank you, guys. Okay, so again, okay, this is like turning into a Monty Python episode. The 3 benefits are, the 4 benefits of watercolor pencils are, the 5 benefits. No one expects the watercolor benefits. Okay, we're starting from the beginning. Somebody else is going to interrupt me with a super chat. It's like the new game. As soon as Lisa gets to number 2, we're going to throw a super chat to interrupt. That's a great way to be interrupted. I don't mind at all. Okay, so smooth out the underpainting layer. 1. Speed up the process. 2. More vibrant colors. 3. You noticed that with water activation, the color became a lot stronger. And 4, along the same lines, it also filled in the pores of the page, you know, the texture of the page, it's called the tooth, that everyone's always fighting with. You know, a lot of the paper that I work on, Strathmore Art Again, and of course, the cardstock paper that I work on, it's pretty smooth, but it has a little bit of texture to it. So you can always see, and in the beginning, you could see the texture very, very clearly. when I was adding the white charcoal to the face, you could see it super clearly. It was like whitewashing a wall in your garden. You know, you were trying to whitewash wood and like all the wood texture is still there and the paint isn't actually sinking in. That's exactly what happens on paper as well. Pookie, honey, do you have to make that noise while I'm streaming? Sorry, my dog's like mad scratching her ear. Thank you, River. Good girl. What about using Faber-Castell Albright Durer for the base colors and then using Faber-Castell Polychromos for the rest? They're the same colors. You can, you won't be able, are they water activated? I don't know. If they're water activated, then you can do the same thing. If they're not water activated, you can still do it. You can still follow the same steps. And actually, the reason that on this one, I don't pop out the names of the colors on the screen is because it's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant, and not everyone's going to be working with the same exact set. And I want you guys to be able to replicate this effect with any colored pencils, even non-water based, even dry pencils. Geezer did! Woohoo! My cat Charlotte was howling and ran to see what was happening, and she had a $5 bill in her mouth. I love you, geezer dude. Thank you. One day I'll be able to do these correctly. How does that look? Is that good for a heart? I think that's one of my better ones. Thank you so much, and thank you, Charlotte. Who doesn't love a cat who brings dollar bills, huh? Wonderful. River and I say thank you. River's down here at my feet. So yes, I think your strategy, whoever said that about Faber-Castells, Sandra, yeah, that would absolutely work. Yeah, they're watercolor pencils. Okay, cool. Yeah, then it's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be exactly the same effect. So that's a really good strategy. And that's I wish the new community was online already, because that's exactly the kind of stuff that we'll be sharing, and people will be learning together and interacting, and it's going to be wonderful. I'm so excited. So for me, now I'm adding finer definition. The other thing that we talked about, is that thread count in your shading technique. If your shading is a little bit brushy, is a little bit, I don't like the word sloppy because it implies that you're not doing it well, but, more sparse. Everyone just has a different shading style. Some people literally put 2 strokes and call it a day, and that's their style, and it comes across looking good. Me, I'm a very high thread count person, to the point where like I can actually make hyper realistic paintings, drawings with colored pencils, but they take days, and nobody actually watches my hyper realistic recordings because most people can't keep up with them. So I stopped sharing those on YouTube, but in the new academy, I will be sharing everything, including my super off the wall, crazy personal stuff that I do on my own time, not for YouTube. And a lot of that is hyper realism and really taking my shading to the next level. But for this, one thing that watercolor priming allows us to do is to not really fixate over that shading so much, because the pores of the page, they're already filled in, and we have that really nice base to work on. It's like priming your canvas, quite literally. If there are any painters here with us, you know all about priming your canvas. I'm an oil painter by trade. That's what I got my degree in university. And they taught us, you never buy a pre-primed, ready to paint on canvas in the store. Always stretch your own. So the biggest thing that we had to learn was to stretch our own canvas with like actual raw canvas or raw linen. So we would build the stretcher. Everyone calls them frames, but they're not. They're stretchers. You build the stretcher, you stretch the canvas, you prime it, and everything. So working artist, end of the video question, because of topic, how do you balance getting practice time in with paid work? I got 4 commissions in the same time and I'm struggling. I'm trying to transition to full-time work. That's an excellent question, and that is something that I love talking about, because it's what I do. I'm managing paid work and personal work and private projects as well. I'm an artist. I have to make art for myself, or else I go insane. So time management is a big deal. Obviously, if you've taken on private commissions, then they get priority. If someone paid you, especially if they paid you up front, then they take priority. But the biggest thing that you can change right now that will help is set more fluid, more friendly deadlines. just because you can complete a project in a day or a week, don't tell your client that. Tell them 3 weeks, because something's going to come up in your life. Your dog's going to get sick. You're going to get sick. Your water pipe is going to break. Your dinner's going to catch on fire. Your air conditioning is going to die. Something will happen that will prevent you from doing the work that you're supposed to be doing, or you'll take on another client and then you owe everyone that same project in a week, and you can't split that many ways. And what will end up happening is you will rush it and you will not deliver the best job that you can deliver. Clients don't know how long art takes. So give it a bigger cushion. It's better to say, I will have it in 3 weeks and deliver it in a week anyway. And that will make you look even better, because they're like, okay, well, I know this project takes 3 weeks and that's already really impressive, but she actually delivered it in a week. They will love you forever even more. So that's one thing that you can do to immediately improve how much you can take on. And of course, taking on a certain number of projects at a time. You guys hear me say time and time again, I can't take on private students anymore this month. That's it. I'm maxed out. Next month, I will have another available slot. But right now, like, I'm done. The doors are closed. And what I do is I actually close those doors. Right now, my private students can join on Patreon. As soon as I know I can no longer take another private student because of time, I literally close that tier. That's it. So people they can see it, but they can't join it, or they see that the tier is closed. You can do the same. However you take on clients right now, if it's, maybe an Etsy store, you take on commissions, maybe you have a website where people can click on a button and say, I want to commission an art piece, or if people reach out to you privately and it's all like word to mouth thing, all of those are fine. If you have actual locations like a website or a store, just close the gates until you have more time to take on more clients. And if it's a private thing, if people just come to you from references, from recommendations, which is how I got started, then just be honest with people. Just say, right now I can't, like, everyone's human. They understand. Like, right now I am so booked up. I have 3 commissions that I'm working on. I seriously cannot even start your project until July. Are you okay with that? And if they are, they'll be happy to wait. And if it's like a time sensitive thing, then, maybe you can move your other client. Like, maybe your new client actually needs this by next week because it's somebody's birthday. Then certainly take them first and try to negotiate with your other clients and buy more time. But generally, the best thing you can do for yourself is just not take on more than you can chew. And it's better to do fewer projects, but do them well and make really, really happy lifelong customers and put those beautiful pieces in your portfolio. That's by far the most important thing, even if you don't make as much money, because that will go a long way. That's good faith, that's good relationships, and that's good for your portfolio. Quality should always come first. Absolutely. That's just one of my tips. There will be many more, and certainly, feel free to reach out to me privately about this as well. I have some other things to share. Perfect timing. Student spotlight. Oh, that looks very much like my drawing, doesn't it? Today's student in the spotlight is Dina Sorrenti, the one and only, who made this live stream possible. My private student, my pride and joy. One of the most talented students that I've ever had. And this is her version of Buffy that she was sharing some tips on in the live chat. And I think it's just phenomenal. Dina has an amazing take on characters' personalities. Like, she really captured Buffy's expression. And Buffy's a difficult character because she's very young. She's a high school kid, but she has clearly like a beautiful and very sensual face. And in this particular image, like, it's a very adult image and it's a very adult expression. Like, this is ecstasy and confusion and deliberation, and like, she is conflicted by this seduction scene, right? And to convey that and still keep her looking young is very difficult. To still keep that innocence, to still keep the baby cheeks and the flawless skin, but it's the lines and the eyebrows that make it so tricky. It's a very, very difficult expression to capture, and she did it flawlessly, because with that many shadows in this part of the eye, it's too easy to make your character look older, much older. And sometimes that's a good look, but in this case, this is a character that we all actually know. So good, Dina, says Jesse. So good. I know, Dina is absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing that work with us. And again, thank you for making this possible, and for getting me hooked on Buffy. I'm absolutely loving the show. I have a feeling we'll have more Buffy streams in the future as I get further in the show, because they're new characters that I'm starting to fall in love with, and I think they all deserve a spotlight as well. And of course, the vampires themselves, come Halloween, I think that might be a fun skin tone to do on a vampire. Because they have all these facial textures. The vampires in this show, they look more like bats. They look like human bats, so they're still human. They're not sexy at all. They are when they're in their human form, but when they're in their vampire form, they're monstrous, but still quite interesting. Um, Hope for a Spike image. Yes, yes, I think there will be a Spike image. Gorgeous work, Dina. Applause, applause, applause for everyone from Dina. Amazing work. Drasilia is quite sensual and sexy. Still waiting for Drasilia to show up. I already know. Like I sneak ahead a little bit, but she still hasn't shown up. But yes, all these characters you guys are mentioning, Darla as well. Absolutely loving the show. And I think more monsters. I think more monsters from the show are coming. One thing that I'm really enjoying about the show is the different, she's season 2. Okay, I'm coming up on that. Um, all the different creatures. It's called Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I thought like every single episode she'll be slaying vampires. But we've only seen vampires in 2 episodes so far. The rest of it is like different and interesting, very, very unique monsters that are presented in a very creative way. I'm a dark and gothic person, so for me it's wonderful. It's a great show. So much inspiration. But this particular image I really like, because of the dramatic lighting. And let's check on our poll, actually. Oh, likeness. Likeness is now in the lead. In our live chat, we have a poll happening. And in the poll, I'm asking, what is the biggest struggle with portraits? Likeness, skin tone, lighting, or it takes too long. It takes too long is now the lowest in the list. Nobody really cares, which is good, because good art takes time. So get used to it. This one little portrait took me 3 hours to complete, and it's only like 4 colored pencils. Lighting is coming in at number 3. Skin tone, lighting is coming in at number 3. Yeah, skin tone at number 2, and by far likeness is winning. So that's quite interesting. Yes, likeness is indeed a difficult subject, because we must understand first what it is that we're trying to convey. You have to really study your character's face and note all the things. With my private students, I like to have you guys take notes. The 3 of you who are here, Jesse, Madam Lori, and Dina, can testify that I like having my students actually take notes before and during and after the project, and especially with likeness, if you're trying to copy a portrait of someone. Make a note. What makes them special? What makes this look like Buffy? Because if you just look at the individual elements, okay, so she has a face, she has eyes and a nose and a mouth and blonde hair. So do like millions of other people. But what makes her Buffy? Is it particularly the shape of the eye? Well, knowing this actress, her eyes are a little bit droopy on the bottom there, which gives it a very characteristic look. So we make a note of that. Slightly droopy eyes, but still very sexy eyelashes. Very sensual mouth. So if we make a note of, somebody just said that the mouth is extremely tricky for her. Dina said, yes, the jawline. That's another really good one. Notice what the jawline is. Is it more chiseled like mine, or is it more rounded? Are there like these smile lines? Are they visible or are they not visible? Is the nose, are the nostrils flared or are they not? eyebrows, are they thin and plucked, or are they natural and all over the place? What about the shape of the eyebrows? What about the distance of the forehead to the hairline? All of these things, instead of just assuming that you will capture the likeness, write them down. The very act of writing something freehand, not, don't even type it, like scribble it. Freehand writing, longhand is a dying art, but it is an art. And I don't care how bad your handwriting is, writing doodles in your journal is extremely helpful. So for likeness, the very first thing that you can do to improve likeness is, well, first have a reference image. Don't do it from your imagination. Always have a reference image. And then from that reference image, take notes. Take notes on what makes that character special. And that way you will notice that your likeness will bump up naturally. Even if your drawing or coloring style is completely not realistic, like, caricatures work, cartoons work for a reason. We all know political cartoons and we recognize the political figures in them. Why do they work? Like, why does a Hitler doodle work? Because everyone knows what Hitler looks like, right? As long as you get the mustache and the hair, there's your Hitler. So, but nobody actually knows. The same thing with Charlie Chaplin, basically the same face. Like, nobody knows what Charlie Chaplin's face actually looks like, but we know the hat, and we know the mustache, and we know the big shoes, and that's Charlie Chaplin. What makes Marilyn Monroe Marilyn Monroe? And start with really iconic characters. If you're a person who's learning to draw, start with iconic characters that are very easy to recognize, and to get the likeness on them, because then when you move on to more obscure characters like your family members that nobody knows, then you'll be able to judge if you're actually achieving that likeness. But if your Elvis doesn't look like Elvis, then practice on something that's super duper recognizable and get that personality rather than the detail. It's like, if you take Elvis, young sexy Elvis or older fat Elvis, whichever one you prefer, they're all excellent. But whichever Elvis you're working from, pick that one image. I know his face is super famous, so you might think you know what he looks like, but just stick to that one image and try to copy what you see there with the notes. So that's my 2 cents on likeness. And as far as color, somebody earlier asked how many new colors to bring in on something like that. I think I literally only used 4 or 5 pencils on this. Dina, you saw the entire recording of this. You'll probably know better. But generally we have like 2 browns here, the mid-tone brown and the really dark one. I have a pink and a peach and a white and a black. And I think that's it. I think I will bring in a magenta for her lips. And I believe I will bring in a Prismacolor magenta for her lips, but that's it. I was today years old when I learned that you can do a great Hitler mustache with a black finger. Do you like my Hitler impression? I do a great Hitler impression. There you go. I can't even do my hair. There you go. There you go. If that's not worth a super chat, I don't know what is. Not that I support the man in any way, but he's fun to make fun of. But you know what I mean. It's super recognizable, iconic faces that we can turn into caricatures, and that's how caricatures work. I would love to one day put together a caricature drawing class. That's something that I very much enjoy doing myself. I used to draw comics all the time, and it's super fun. It's super fun. It's a very fast-paced skill. Like, you really want to doodle super quickly, and you come up with cool characters. And we start something like that on famous, recognizable faces, and usually ones with an emotional connection as well. Like, everyone knows that Hitler's evil, and it's okay to make fun of him, right? So political figures, dead people are great because they can't speak back, but also like super attractive people that you find interesting, like Buffy, of course, great example. So all your famous movie stars, political figures, stuff like that. It's a great caricature assignments. And then, of course, the toughest one is self-portraits, because we don't see ourselves as others see us. So an artist who is able to draw a caricature of themselves that's actually accurate and funny, That is, it's as high as it gets, in my opinion. Let's see. Those were the colors plus black and white. Cool. So basically 4 pencils I used on this, and that's it. So not a lot. But also, consider your subject matter. This is a romantically lit, very dramatic lighting piece that's borderline monochromatic. It's just brown tones and a golden light. So not a lot of detail here in terms of color. On the original photo that you see in the beginning of the live stream, we can see a little bit of Angel's sleeve that is red. We see a little bit more detail on Buffy's hair and her lips. There's a little bit more color. There's some blue and some red and others in the original photo, but Dina and I decided to go with like a classical painting look. Again, I'm a classical painter by trade, so it just comes naturally to me. That's what I find attractive. So if you prefer to add more colors, then certainly go for it. You can use a million colors. I have a piece hanging here on the wall that I'm aching to share with you guys. It took 16 hours to complete, and I'm saving it for a special event in the new academy. Remember to join the academy above, because huge things are coming and you don't want to miss out on them. And one of the things that I'm saving for a special live event series is my super detailed drawing that is very colorful, and I will demonstrate how to do a portrait with dramatic lighting and a very complex color combo, and of course meticulous shading, and that's going to be on the expert level. But everyone is welcome to join to see how things, what to aspire to. So that's something. No. Please, no, Candace. No, Candace. Who's Candace? Oh, Candace Owens. I want to do a portrait of her. Painting is not something I have done until recently. I'm surprised that tracing is used, but it definitely makes a sense. Tracing isn't always used. I've always painted freehand. When I paint, I gave myself a Hitler haircut. I'm sorry. We were doing Hitler impressions a few minutes ago. Painting doesn't require tracing. No, it can. And any two-dimensional, fully rendered composition can be traced, or it can be freehand drawn. I used to be a tattoo artist as well. For 10 years, I did tattoos, and I even did tattoos freehand. Not all of them, but I loved doing freehand tattoos. So you don't have to trace anything. With oil painting, I never traced or even sketched. I just, primed my canvas and went straight to painting. So it's not required, but I'm sure if you're following like beginner painter tutorials, they have you tracing images, because it's the closest thing they can offer to what I offer with my coloring pages, right? Like you can't print on canvas. So if I were to teach a painting class and I had to deliver my sketch that you can then paint over, probably I would just teach you how to trace or how to use the grid method to transfer it, so that you can get straight into mixing colors and creating beautiful value scale definition, rather than focusing on that sketch. The sketch is the bottom of the drawing pyramid, and if anyone is finding this interesting at all, join the Fundamentals of Drawing course. It's honestly, like, as much as I always promote Pencils Pro, how to use colored pencils like a pro, like Fundamentals of Drawing is secretly my favorite course, and the one that I think everyone should take. Even if you'll never touch another piece of charcoal again, even if you'll never draw a freehand composition ever again after completing it, it will give you such a boost in your creativity and how you approach even a basic coloring page. Like, anyone here can testify. I think pretty much everyone here has gone through that program in the live chat. And so definitely how to use colored pencils, like, drawing fundamentals. Yeah, because in that course, every time I refer to the drawing pyramid, it's from there. And it's not a secret. My drawing pyramid isn't a secret. You certainly don't need to join a course to find out what's in the pyramid. But you do have to join it to find out how to use it. The very bottom layer of the pyramid is the sketch, and it's the very bottom of the pyramid because it's the most important thing. Without a good base for your without a good foundation, you can't have a structure. It's the same in everything. If you don't have a proper plan for your building, if you don't have those blueprints and everything's accurate and approved, you can't even begin building your house. You know, you can start putting bricks together, but they're not going to hold. You can start decorating your walls and designing beautiful curtains and matching your, you know, your tapestries to your couches, but none of that matters if you don't have a good foundation for your house. So it's the same thing with drawing. You have to have that foundation. You have to have the sketch. And but ironically, it takes the longest amount of time to master it. Once you've mastered it, it can take seconds. For me, my sketches, if I'm just graphite sketching on paper or color pencil sketching on paper, seconds to minutes, no more than 5 minutes a sketch takes me. A sketch that's all rendered beautifully and ready for you guys to print takes me about an hour to create, depending on how complicated it is. If it's just a portrait, then it's about an hour. If it's something very, very detailed out of one of my published books with super definitions in the back, that could take 3 or 4 days to complete if I'm drawing out every single little detail by hand. But just to sketch a composition, it should take seconds once you master it. But to learn it, it takes the longest. Some people spend years learning how to sketch. In my course, I teach you how to sketch very quickly, but of course, you know, it's something that you should practice over and over again. Actually, I make a point to try and save them instead of tossing them. Then at a later time go back and I can see the improvement. But yes, we all have those moments. I started watching Fundamentals of Drawing and it's packed with stuff, says Dina, even more than Pencils Pro and Metallics. I'm really glad that you've started that program. That's amazing. Jesse says Fundamentals of Drawing is one of the best courses, but I love all of Lisa's classes. You guys spoil me. These are my favorite comments to read. Yes, more. Thank you, everyone. My all-time favorites are glow effects and gemstones. Yeah, those are like our candy eye candy courses, right? Those are the most sparkly and the shiniest courses. And those two courses, glow effects and gemstones, I actually ran as live shows. Those were some of my first courses in this version of the Academy, and they ran as 4-week-long live webinars that people joined. You had to sign up, you had to show up to class, and that's how I taught it. And then now you guys see the recordings of those classes that I've edited down to short bite-sized lessons. And most people really enjoy that format even more than my pre-recorded lessons because it's more natural. You know, I teach like this, we joke and everything. And also the students, you can't hear them, they can only type. So sometimes their comments pop up above my head. But some of the questions that come in from the students are golden. And it's stuff that I wouldn't have thought of on my own if I was just teaching a pre-recorded webinar or delivering a recorded video, but when I have a live audience, so much more surfaces up with people's individual questions. They think everyone who's watching the rerun is getting a lot more value out of it. And it's both of those classes, gemstones and fantasy glow effects, I've packed so much information into them that I can't expand on them. Like the complete guide to coloring gemstones is actually complete. There's no sequel. So I kind of locked myself out of more content there. It's quite ironic. The same thing with glow effects. It's really funny. So I can do more glow effects, but they all come down to the same basic principle. And those are my favorite things to color. When it comes to actual bright and vibrant colors, it's glow effects and gemstones. When it comes to more painterly effects, then it's portraits and skin tones. But one of the things that I do for myself is pen and ink. My absolute favorite medium is a ballpoint pen. And I know David has been asking me to put together a program on a ballpoint drawing tutorial for years now. And I have it in the works. I have I think 6 hours of recording already. I just need to put it all together into a program. But I haven't neglected you, David. I have been recording and saving it in my archives. It's just, it's it's like when you feel so passionately about something, it's almost like you're not ready to share it with the world yet. You know, it's my baby. It's what I do privately. So it's a big deal for me to share. Yes, pen and ink, please. Okay. I will get brave. You guys think that I don't get scared? Like somebody else said that, you know, you're so brave because you're on camera all the time and you teach and everything. I get terrified. Like even every time I release a video, I'm absolutely terrified. I go through like a whole panic attack every time that I hear that I click publish on a video. And I sit there for an hour clicking refresh, refresh, refresh. I'm like, no one's watching my video. And same thing with teaching. Like some things I'm really confident about because I do it all the time, and it's just, you know, repetition, repetition, repetition. It just becomes autopilot. But some things that I guard with, you know, with my own privacy are very difficult for me to share. And strangely, ballpoint pen is one of them. It's like, oh, what if they don't like it? Or what if they don't understand? What if it's too tricky? What if it's too specific? You know, it's just it's weird. We all glitch out in the headspace sometimes. I would recommend taking courses on blood-borne diseases before tattoo. Well, that was random. That was probably a reference to me being a tattoo artist. I was actually a professional certified tattoo artist, so I do know what I'm doing. But thank you everyone for saying that. Certainly, if anyone here wants to take up a tattooing, go and get certified. Go get a mentor and get trained professionally. Don't learn in your basement. And hygiene is a key, more important than a beautiful delivery, definitely. It's basically a medical procedure, so you can't take it lightly. You do have to follow a whole bunch of instructions and certifications and everything. And, you know, it's a medical procedure. You're putting needles in people's skin. Absolutely. Maybe a tutorial on drawing Catalina, fuzzy fabric. Great idea. Yes, one of the things, I keep a journal with ideas of what to teach, and then the more people point something out, the more these things move up the list. And that's, you know, sometimes you may think, you know, why did she release this video today? You know, why drawing with charcoal all of a sudden? It's because things start moving up the list with more people interested in it. And as I'm listening to you and taking in more feedback, I try to deliver what you guys are craving. So one of the things that I have on my list is actually, I put it in this morning, great minds think alike, is a video on how to draw textures and do like 4 demos of, you know, metal versus fuzzy fur or fabric versus skin versus, I don't know, stone or something like that, but like on the same subject, a ball or a plaque or something. So that goes right in line with that. And notice I am coming back with my water a little bit. You can come in with water as many times as you like on watercolor pencils illustrations, as long as you already did that pre-priming underpainting wash. Now with the details, what it does is that it sharpens up the details a little bit, and it also makes some colors a little bit more vibrant. So I like to go over the individual strands of the hair in the darkest parts, the highlights, not the highlights, but the lowlights, in fact, the shadows in the hair. And then the details on the face, such as the eyebrows, the eyelashes, nostrils, and a little bit on the lips, because that water activation, it will boost the color a little bit. So instead of adding more and more pencil work and more darker colors, just come in with a tiny watercolor brush and just a little bit of a touch up, not a lot. You will see in the video, and remember everyone, you have a homework assignment. There's a video that keeps popping up on the screen that I keep telling you to go watch after this. And that's a video that has a very dramatic thumbnail that says, "Don't let this happen to you." And it's a beautiful portrait that's just like all melting on one side. And in it, I put this booklet to the test. I follow their instructions, which are in here. I follow every single step to see if I can come up with their result, and it's impossible. Like even for a pro artist like myself, it's impossible. So anyone who is a beginner will suffer an even worse fate than me. So don't trust this booklet. But I do also offer a good way of doing so, the good way being this way. But what this booklet, and apparently many others, more and more people are coming forward in the comments. In fact, let me check right now if there have been any more comments on that video. More and more people are coming forth in the comments on that video saying that not only did they see other YouTubers talk about this very same phenomenon, having the same exact complaint as me, and yeah, a couple more people said it. But they also know that many other pencil brands have similar booklets that give similar horrible instructions. This part is interesting. You saw me bring in an actual reference image into the shot for a second. I do always have my original reference image laying next to my project at all times. So what I brought in there and pointed with my pencil is that there's a minor discrepancy between what's on the reference image and the way that my vector graphic depicts shadow. The way that I created the line work for this page is I wanted it to be a coloring page that's readable, meaning there's enough information for you to fill in everything with just regular lighting, not dramatic lighting. On the original photo, you can't see his face at all. You just see his forehead and a little bit of his nose, but you can't even see the bottom of his nose or his mouth or even the outline of his face. It's entirely in shadow. When I recreated this as a line drawing to be a coloring page for you guys, which is, by the way, clickable link below and QR code above, totally free, go grab it. When I created that coloring page for you guys, I didn't want to just trail off some lines into the shadows. I wanted to actually reconstruct his face, so I added some line work. And then when I vectorized this image and turned it into a black and white value scale, it also depicts too much of the face. The shadows are placed correctly, but too much detail is visible. I want to stay more true to the original photo than to this light and shadow suggestion graphic. So in the original photo, his face is entirely hidden in shadow. And that's one of the things that you will learn as a growing artist is a lot of times we have to put in the work that we then ourselves destroy or cover up somehow. So you draw all the details and then you are so amazingly talented. Thank you so much. So a lot of times we'll draw all the details just to put the whole thing in shadow entirely. And a lot of people don't understand. It's like, why go through all that trouble? Just, paint over it. But then things may not line up and the brain understands. We function by recognition. Everyone's brain just functions by recognition. We see something and we are very precise. We are very, very visual people, creatures, very visual creatures. And our brains know if something's off even a little bit. So if his forehead was off just a bit from his nose, everyone will know that that face doesn't fall together. So I had to draw out all the lines. So regardless of how you decide to color this, you have the information there. You may not want some such dramatic lighting as mine. You may want to give him more definition, make him more like his character in the show. But maybe you don't. Maybe you want to hide him completely. Maybe you just want to paint black all over him. That's fine too. And like make him gone entirely and just keep Buffy. There's no wrong way to color at all. But here's where the blending magic happens for me. I like to come in with the actual white from this Castle Arts set. I'm surprisingly happy with it. Does it live up to Prismacolor? Apples and oranges. It's not really the same. Would I use it on a different coloring page? I would not. It blends this brand of pencils really well. For anything else, I would still use Prismacolor white, but on watercolor pencils, it's such a beautiful blender, and it's already creating slightly cooler brown effects than what we had before. Notice that not only is Buffy better lit, and Angel is darker in more shadow, but Buffy also has more warm light on her, while Angel has cooler light on him. There's going to be a fifth pencil, Dina. We forgot. I'm also going to bring in a lilac for a hot second. But look, even with just the dark brown being blended with the white, it becomes cooler. And that's the magic in blending. So if you haven't joined how to use colored pencils like a pro yet, that's the kind of stuff that I teach there, is how to manipulate pencils to get certain effects. Like you really get, when you go through a program that's specialized like that, it's like you get magical powers. It's like you go to a wizard's academy and you get all of these skills that regular muggles don't get on YouTube. So one more reason to join. Oh my God, there's a whole bunch of comments I missed. Did you do a lot of portraits tattooing? Traditional portrait? Yeah, all of the tattoos that I wear, not only did I design them, but I actually executed them myself. So if anyone ever sees me with, my arms exposed, or, well, my legs are never exposed because I always wear pants. But if anyone ever sees a more revealed version of me, that's actually all of my work. I've done everything as a tattoo artist. Everything that you see me do on paper, I've done all of that on people's skin as well. And here comes the lilac to make him even cooler. For instance, if you used a brown that's too warm on his skin tone, and you want to cool it off even more, you can always, it's like if you're cooking with tomato and you need to break the acidity, you bring in a little bit more sugar. It's like that with color. It's like you can control the taste, you can control the mood. So this was a little bit too warm, a little bit too sugary. We actually have to bring in a little bit more coolness. So a little bit of lilac always goes a long way in shadows. And that also makes her pop a little bit more. We make him dimmer, we make him more hidden in shadow, and we make him a little bit cooler, like actually cooler, as in cool colors and warm colors. And then she stands out by contrast. All of a sudden she looks warmer. She looks warmer lit, which goes with her expression. It's pleasure, it's ecstasy, it's fantasy, it's dream state. There's light, like heavenly light directly on her. So it all goes really, really well together. And that's why I love secondary characters so much. Even like in cinema and theater, I love secondary characters even more than primary characters, because I think they secretly tell the real story. So did you do a lot of portraits? It's like coloring your background in dark blues and purples before coloring over it in black. It provides depth even if you don't notice that or see it. Susan Dawson, yes, 100%. That is someone who clearly studies in my academy. That's a very specific thing that I teach in my courses. Yeah, Fantasy Glow Effects, yes. Thank you. A direct quote from Fantasy Glow Effects. It's exactly like that. Yep. You don't, in Fantasy Glow Effects, I'm not going to reteach Fantasy Glow Effects. You guys can go join it if you want to learn. But yes, what Susan said, 100%. Absolutely. Caran d'Ache Sopra color white is phenomenal. Ah, yes. So I've heard. I am still putting money aside for Caran d'Ache. But I just bought a new sharpener. I can't afford Caran d'Ache. But one day I will. It's actually Dracula here, not Angel. Really? Like actually Dracula himself? I was wondering about that because his hair is longer and he has the widow's peak. Oh, that's so cool. She gets to meet actual Dracula. Wow. Hell of a spoiler. I love it. I love it. Now I'm going to binge watch the rest of season 1 so I can get to season 2. That is, wow, like I just got all tingly. Of course, wow, Dracula is the GOAT. Nice, very, very cool to know. Alrighty, how are we doing on time here? I am at 1 hour and 40 minutes and my recording is 2 hours and 14 minutes. So we still have some time. If you guys have any questions, I want to hear any more stories, certainly don't be shy. If you guys are watching and not participating in the live chat, you are missing out. We have so much fun in the live chat, good company, good comments, actual links you can click. So do join in. Let's check on that poll again. What is your biggest struggle with portraits? Now we have likeness and skin tone almost tied. Okay, so we talked about likeness already. I gave you my 2 cents on how to immediately boost your likeness in portraits. Let's talk about skin tones now. Needless to say, in the Academy, we have an entire course on skin tones called Skin Tone Mastery. Very cool course. I cover 5 different skin tones there, starting with lighter and ending with darker. And not only Dracula is the goat. Fucking come on. There's so many layers there, right? The whole demonic goat, the greatest of all time. It's just, there's so much there. Anyway, so in Skin Tone Mastery, I teach you how to use skin tone color charts and also how to build your own color charts because every skin tone is different. But in a nutshell, here's some lifelong advice that I can give you on skin tones before you join the course. Skin tones are tricky not because they're difficult to execute, they're tricky because your mind plays tricks on you. Because portraits are so emotionally charged that we see the person's being, we see the heart and the soul and the personality. We don't really see features anymore, you know, so we don't see skin color anymore, we just see that person, and very particularly we don't see that skin color in that particular lighting scenario. Skin tones are more about ambient lighting than they are about skin. Like my actual skin tone, if I were to go to the store right now and pick a foundation that matches my skin, doesn't look anything like what you're seeing on camera. Like if you just take 1 pixel from my face from the camera, it actually looks kind of like dark pink, right? It doesn't even look like a pale cream color that my skin actually is. So the biggest thing, Skin Tone Mastery is a great course. Thank you, Karen. So the biggest thing with skin, it's not, you can't think of it like a makeup artist does. You know, with when you are a makeup artist, and I've had students in that course who are actual makeup artists, and they struggled the most because their mind works in a different way. They're matching the actual tone of the skin so that it matches the surface, and then it can play in the light naturally. What we are depicting as artists isn't the skin tone at all. It's whatever the lighting scenario is providing for us. For instance, Buffy, look at this. Her face looks orange. That's not actually her skin tone. We have brown, orange, and white here. Her skin is neither brown, nor orange, nor white. It's kind of peachy cream, right? So none of the colors that we apply to skin tones are the actual skin tone. And that's the very first hack that you need to get past in order to succeed with skin tones. So one of the things that I like to do in teaching skin tone is actually work a lot with grayscale and first understand the value scale and where that's what we're doing, right? Working with value scale, and then working with sepia, and then working with warm painterly lighting such as this, and only then moving up to something more advanced like actual hyper realistic skin tones in different lighting scenarios. But for instance, the skin tone that I was talking about that took 16 hours to complete, I'm gonna look at it right now. The colors that are featured in it are actually, I used more than 20 pencils on it, and the colors that are featured on it are blue, green, gray, black, red, and white. And it's on the white girl. So skin tone colors very rarely have anything to do with the skin tone itself. So what you have to learn to do is you have to learn to see and translate what you're actually seeing onto the page so that other people see the same thing. I love sepia. It's something that I'm getting into. The essence of her being. Yes, exactly. The essence of her being. Sepia is fantastic. I try to sneak in sepia work every chance that I get. And in fact, that's what underpainting is. So this portrait is very, very close to being full sepia. It has a little bit too much yellow to be proper sepia. But I mean, we could argue that this is a sepia. This is where I start glitching out at the end of the stream. At what was I saying? I just totally had a brain fart, you guys. That's it. My mind just went gone. All right. If anyone can figure out what I was talking about before I exploded my hair on live TV, we'll get back to that topic eventually. Let's see, the essence of her being, like how the Black Widow skin tone sets have all kinds of colors you wouldn't think are skin colors that are useful, says Kai. Yes, exactly like that. A good skin tone set will have lilacs in it, it will have greens in it, it will have grays in it, and the Black Widow skin tone sets are still by far my favorites. by far. And actually, I think I teach skin tone mastery with Black Widow skin tones, if I'm not mistaken. I actually live taught that course, what, 4 years ago now, 5 years ago. So I don't remember what I originally taught it in, but it sounds like me to teach that course in Black Widow skin tones, because it's still by far. Is the Black Widow skin tone set enough on its own? I find that it's not, because usually a portrait requires more than a skin tone. Like, you would probably have also garments or makeup or background elements that need other colors. So by themselves, they're not enough to complete a portrait. Well, maybe to complete one portrait, but you definitely can't get by as an artist with just that. It was Black Widow. Okay, cool. But it's excellent. I don't have it in the video description. You guys can just Amazon it, Amazon search for it. Black Widow skin tone sets. There are two. There's dark skin tone and light skin tone. Don't separate them. They go well together. It's not like one of them will cover all of your dark skin tone needs and the other will cover all your light skin tone needs. I actually end up using the dark skin tone set for light skin tones quite a bit more often, and that's because of this kind of dramatic shadows. Now I'm coming in with what it looks like black. Yes, now I'm coming in with black to really bring out the contrast. You will notice as you move through the academy, and as you keep joining these live streams and playing with me, you will notice that any kind of two-dimensional art all comes down to contrast. Doesn't matter what style it is. It doesn't matter if it's in color or black and white. Doesn't matter if it's a skin tone or a gemstone or a glow effect. Everything is built on contrast, because that's literally how our eyes understand that something is three-dimensional. So you can have beautiful color work, but if your value scale isn't balanced, it's not going to look good. It's going to look flat. When people say that something looks flat, that's what they mean. There's no value definition. Meaning, if you take that picture and you make it grayscale, like we did with this one in the beginning of the show, all the detail will disappear entirely. If you take a perfectly balanced value scale picture and turn it grayscale, all the detail remains. And that's what we learn. That's why I think fundamentals of drawing is so important for you guys, even though it's, about drawing and not coloring, but really, really understanding that contrast and value thing goes a long way. Yes, Black Widows is still my favorite, says Karen. Chalk tone and negra, those are Black Widow terms. I recognize them. Okay, Black Widows also have the coolest pencil names. In the skin tone sets, they're pretty basic, but in their other sets, they have really fun names like Tarantula. Very, very cool pencils. Chalk tone and negra are my two favorites in the Black Widows, together with Brown Bug and Tarantula. See? We are so on the same wavelength today, Dina. That's amazing. Maybe it's because of this project. I think it was also like a bonding experience for us. Dina only joined me as a private student a few months ago. 2 months ago, like we just recently started working together, but we've already done so much. But I think it's this project that was like the super bonding experience for us. The dragon set is also really, really cool. Yeah, the dragon set is amazing. I used to work with Albert Jones side by side promoting his product. He never officially sponsored the channel or anything, but he just sent me as a friend a bunch of his sets, and a lot of times he would send them to me ahead of release, and I did a lot of cover art for his product. So if you go online and you look at the photos of Black Widow pencils, a lot of my art is still up there as as his cover artist. But I was always brutally honest about them. If something was stupid, I would say so on the show. If some color just didn't work or set wasn't well calibrated, that's my only beef with Albert's product with Black Widow pencils, that he's not an artist. He is a hobbyist and a businessman, and he designed Black Widow pencils during COVID when people started doing coloring as stress relief. And he wanted to deliver a more fun and enjoyable product as a therapy product, basically, because that's what he specializes in. He specializes in therapy equipment that he designs for people. So he decided to branch out into pencils, and that was very cool. But he's not an artist, so he doesn't understand that pencil sets need to be calibrated. We have needs. So his are kind of all over the place, and that's my only beef with it. You kind of need all of the sets together to be able to work comfortably, and that gets a little pricey because you also can't get his pencils individually anymore. So there are pros and cons to every brand, but I still have a ton of Black Widows. I even have some that are still in plastic. Jesse, oh my gosh, another super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. You are fantastic. We definitely crossed our goal, not goal. So I promise next time no ads. I see the people have spoken. One other thing about Albert, one really cool thing that he did, he even sent me a huge box filled with his product when I lived in Chile. And shipping to Chile is a nightmare. They are so protective of their borders. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. So he must have paid a fortune to get those pencils to me. And it wasn't for a promo. It wasn't like, I'm sending you this product, please make a video and make me look good. It was just like, you clearly like my product, you need more of it, and you live at the ass end of the planet, so you can't buy supplies there. Here's a gift for you. That was amazing. I will never ever forget that. Talk what you will about the pencil sets themselves, but the man behind them is actually a really good person, and that's rare these days. So just remember that every time you buy a Black Widow set, you are supporting someone who is genuinely a good person who created a product that he believed would help people with stress relief. So that's my 2 cents on Black Widows. I don't think Albert even watches my shows anymore. Black Widows are a great set, even though you can't buy individual pencils. Yeah, that's the only thing. It's very difficult to offer individual items. It's just he can't afford to offer that. Since then, over time, I was able to collect all the sets, but some I used so much, I really need to order more and haven't had the budget. Hello all. Hi, Caroline. Welcome. We are actually adding our final layer of detail, but I still have to do the lips, I believe. There's still much work to be done on our vampire, who's not Angel, it's Dracula, everybody. If you were with me during the beginning of the show, I kept calling him Angel. See, the crook of his nose kind of looks like Angel's, but he's so deeply hidden in shadow, I couldn't recognize him. And but the only thing that gave it away, I thought maybe time passed that he now has a Dracula haircut. His hair has grown out, but the hair should have been a dead giveaway for me. Do you ever work with graphite, or is it just something demoed for fundamentals of drawing? I totally prefer charcoal. I'm so glad you love charcoal. I demo in the fundamentals of drawing. I demo everything to give you the full range of what you can work with. So I demo graphite, colored pencils, and charcoal. And I believe that everyone who's starting to draw needs to experience all 3 to decide what's for them. And then after the 3 main tools, I demo the 3 ways of drawing, which is freehand drawing from a reference, drawing using a grid, and then drawing using a collage method. And I had a student email me a couple of days ago saying, would you be terribly offended if I skipped the grid method entirely because I hate it? And I wrote to her back with lots of praise saying, by all means, skip it. Just do that composition freehand. You don't have to follow the grid if you absolutely hate it. And the other way around, if you don't enjoy freehanding, the information is there for you to learn, but you can achieve the same effect via any other method. I try to make this course as broad as possible to cover everything that I learned in 4 years of art school in just 4 weeks. But no, I don't actually use graphite at all. It's a very popular tool, and it's important to know how it works. And it's also something that people have laying around. So it's important to be able to pick up a graphite pencil and sketch something. But for professional art, I haven't used graphite in years. I hate graphite. It smudges, it's cold, it's impersonal. I absolutely despise graphite, never work with it at all. If I'm doing a grayscale image, I'll just do it in Prismacolor pencils. And I'll do it grayscale, or I'll use charcoal. But I never use graphite. And for sketching, for pencil sketching, I use colored pencils. And that's how I want you guys to approach these courses. I confessed to my student responding to her email that when I learned the grid method in university, I cheated. and I got caught, but I didn't get penalized. I actually hated the grid method so much that I freehand drew my portraits and then I put the grid over them. I totally got caught, but I got praised for my ingenuity. So it's not to say that it's not important to learn, and most people actually love the grid method, and most people love graphite, which is why I still keep it in the course. But don't feel like just because I teach a certain tool, you have to use it all the time. I don't use graphite and I don't use the grid method. I freehand everything, and I use either charcoal, colored pencils, or a ballpoint pen. I actually sketch with a ballpoint pen quite a bit, but I hate it too, but I think it's a little, it's too specific, and I don't want to set up my students for failure. Like a lot of people genuinely hate ballpoint pen and find it super difficult to work with. So if it's something that I mastered and works for me, doesn't mean that it will work for everyone. Nor do you need to know how to use a ballpoint pen. It's like, it's way too specific. But I'm still going to teach you guys how to do it in a separate course because I have been working on it. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. But this kind of, I talked about approaching a portrait in terms of sculpting. When we create our first light and shadow composition, it's like we're sculpting the image. Well, now it's like we're carving the image. We've molded this shape with clay, in air quotes, and now we're coming in with tiny little chisels and little carving tools to carve out all that detail. And that's what we're doing with the super, super dark pencils right now, is carving out those little details. Graphite is super difficult to use for big projects. I'm regretting using it for my Goblin King. Called it. I knew you would regret it. But it looks so good. So what I would actually do on the Goblin King right now is trace what you have. Actually trace it with a purple pencil or something else. Or actually redraw it, maybe transfer it via grid method onto black paper. Your special skill is drawing with white on black. So imagine the whole Goblin King setup with white on black. Oh, that would look amazing. Holy cow. And our next lesson is actually on white on black, so that's going to be very fitting. We'll talk about it in class. I tried ballpoint and hated it. Yes, I tried to get Dina into ballpoint and she totally didn't get it. Not that she didn't understand it, she tried it and she did a really good job, but it's like it's not her thing. She didn't like it. And that's why it's so important to try everything, you guys. You don't know what you will like and what you won't like. For instance, I absolutely hate watercolor paint. Hate it, despise it, hate working with it. I can work with it and I can create beautiful results with it. And I love watercolor pencils, weirdly, but I absolutely hate watercolor paint. Just don't enjoy the process at all. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just not your thing. And maybe in a few years it will change and I will discover a new love for watercolor paint. But right now I hate it, so I stay away from it. But the only way to find that out was to take a watercolor painting course, which I did. And while I did great in the course and produced some beautiful work, I learned this about myself, that I don't like watercolor paint. But having taken a lot of charcoal courses, I discovered my love for charcoal. And charcoal is difficult. Charcoal is genuinely challenging for a lot of people because it's so intense and it's also very dirty. But it's amazing for learning. It loosens your hand and it loosens your mind in a way that no other tool does. We get so fixated on tiny details that we lose track of a bigger picture. And what charcoal allows you to do is to create quickly and to build objects with light and shadow. And what bugs people is that you can't really preserve charcoal work really well. Like I have a stack of charcoal drawings and I see that they're getting faded. It never completely goes away. Your page won't go blank, but they do get faded after some time. And they are fixatives and you can use hairspray and stuff, but even charcoal fixatives don't actually lacquer your page. There's no way to permanently preserve charcoal work. So we don't really use charcoal for like professional work to deliver onto clients because of that. It's fleeting. You give your charcoal painting to a client and they may not treat it well, and within like like 6 weeks or something, they'll come back and complain that their drawing disappeared. So we just don't do it. But for training purposes and for really fast work to, just to get your hand loosened, to get those images down, charcoal is perfect. So you practice with charcoal so that then you can take what you've learned and transfer it to things like that. Like my students who have gone through fundamentals of drawing are much better colorists than people who are just coming into the coloring world, because my students understand light and shadow work, and then they're just translating what they learned into this very, very fine work with sharp pencils. Let's see, they're pretty good. What are we talking about? Ballpoint paint is too stark. I couldn't get flowing lines out of it. Okay, yes, that can be. That's why when I make my lessons on ballpoint pen, I plan to do a lot of actual extreme close-ups with the camera onto the tip of the ballpoint so that you guys can see. I mean, there's a lot of feeling in it. Like you really have to get a feel for it. So it's something that's difficult to teach on camera. But I will try, and that's one of the things holding me back from creating the ballpoint course, is because a lot of it is by feel. So that's going to be difficult to convey. But I think with more camera angles and more explanation as I'm doing it, and more exercises that are designed to mimic a particular effect, you guys will be able to also enjoy this medium. But also consider, Gina, it took me years to master ballpoint. I started ballpoint doodles when I was in high school. And the way that it started was I was a really smart student. So I usually finished all my work much faster than everyone else, or I was already ahead of the class, and I was bored a lot in class. So I was just sitting there waiting for the teacher to get on with it because they weren't saying anything that I didn't know. So I would just doodle in my book. And since I did, like, this is in the 90s, you guys, and in the 90s, we didn't have computers and cell phones. We came to class with a ballpoint pen and we took notes in our journals. So I always had a journal and I always had a ballpoint pen. And since I wasn't doing what the teacher wanted me to do, I was doodling in my book. And that's how I got started with ballpoint. And for years, it was just messy doodles. And then I was doing it so much that with repetition, I kept perfecting it and perfecting and perfecting. And finally, I designed my own way of working with ballpoint that now I can do a hyper-realistic portrait with a ballpoint pen. But I'm 43 now. I started drawing with ballpoint when I was 16. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, and I'm going to try to get you guys to draw with ballpoint in just a couple of weeks. That's the joy of being a teacher. Could you use Mod Podge as a seal over charcoal if you already used the spray fixative? I've never tried. I imagine that it may smudge it, but honestly, I haven't tried. I think it could. I think it could. I would probably do several layers of fixative then. A layer of fixative, let it sit for like a day, another layer of fixative, and then it might work. I would test it on a small sample before applying it to your beautiful drawing. But it's a great idea. I bought a set of Castle Arts watercolor pencils and I could never get the hang of them. I feel like maybe I can try them again. Karen, I hope you do. These are them. Actually, my last 3 videos on color pencils have been using this watercolor pencil brand. So make sure, watch this recording all the way through. The last live stream was on a different portrait with watercolor pencils. The video that I released this morning, make sure you guys, you watch the video that I released this morning. Let me grab you a link for that. It has been popping up on the screen, and if you just go to my YouTube channel, it will be the latest video that I published. But just in case, here's the link again. That's an excellent video on like step-by-step how to use watercolor pencils. The Zendaya short video as well. So between those short videos and the 2 long live streams that I did, I think you're in good hands. You can give them a shot again. A lot of people are using watercolor pencils incorrectly, and mainly just using too much water or using water at the wrong moment. These instructions all tell you to do all of your sketching first, all of your shading, and then come in with water, and it does not work. Spoiler alert. That's the whole point of that video that I released this morning. You guys are privileged. You're here on the live stream. There are no secrets except for the big Academy upgrade. That's a secret. yeah, like I'm not gonna tell you go watch a video. I'm not gonna say what's in it. Spoiler alert is this is wrong. It doesn't work. But you should still watch the video and drop a comment. You guys, getting you to drop comments is like pulling teeth. You all chat with me privately on Discord, but you don't leave a comment on the YouTube video. It actually makes a huge difference. If I don't get enough comments on a YouTube video, YouTube stops recommending it. My video doesn't get a lot of views and then they die. So if you can, I know you're all very kind and lovely and supportive people. Every time I release a video, just even if it's just a smiley face, drop something. It helps, especially like in the first day of the release. It really helps boost it. So if you guys could do that as a favor for me, that would be a huge, huge help. That video was super helpful. Yeah, I always thought that I used them wrong, but never thought it was because of being misled, right? Because who would think that? Who would think that an actual instruction manual would give you bad advice? And it's a shame because I still promote this brand. I think the brand is excellent. It's just that they put together this leaflet that wasn't put together by an actual artist. That's all it comes down to. That is a great video, and I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people. Thank you. I hope so. I hope so. It was another one of those things where I was really nervous about releasing a video because I'm not really comfortable with, the negative aspect of it. In my other life, on my other YouTube channel that was all gaming, I had no problem with controversy and pointing out all the flaws in the system. That was kind of my thing. But here it's different. It's like it's my private art world. It's my universe. Like I just want to be left in peace to make pretty little paintings. I don't like ruffling feathers. So I tried to make this video as neutral as possible without actually talking shit about Castle Arts pencils. And that's why I keep going out of my way to say that the brand is amazing. The pencils are amazing, but don't trust everything you read. For me, I'm actually going to start paying more attention to these leaflets. I never look at them because I'm a professional artist, right? So every time I get a new pencil set, all of this goes straight in the trash. The color swatching papers, these leaflets and pamphlets, they immediately go in the trash. I never look at them. From now on, I'm actually going to look at them. And if some of them give you horrible advice that can hurt you, I will point it out, because this actually sets you up for failure. It's not that it's difficult to follow. It literally sets you up for failure, making you think that you're doing something wrong. And that I will not stand by. That's just wrong. When it's that bad, I have to speak up. And I did in these video. Does that mean comments during live stream? Yes, comments during the live stream also helps. That's why being in the live chat is also helpful, and afterwards dropping comments as well. But especially on videos, comments and likes as well go a long way, because YouTube, the algorithm is looking at not just the length of time that people watch your video for, but whether they liked it or not. And if people are not commenting and liking, YouTube assumes that they watched it and they didn't like it, and then they actually stop promoting my video. It's really weird. Like I said, I have a video coach, so I know a lot of things about YouTube and how it works. That's like behind the scenes stuff that people aren't supposed to know. But that's why I always say drop a comment on the video, and people think it's because I need feedback. And it's not. It's because I want my videos to perform better. Like I get feedback from you all the time. You're all very involved in the community and always giving me feedback and stuff. But it would help the videos a lot if everyone just always clicked a like and dropped a comment. Even if it's a negative comment, it helps, actually. And it helps me. It helps me understand how you guys feel about it, and like the parts that you liked about it the most, so that the next video I can make even better. I'm always striving to make my next project even better than the previous one. Okay, looks like I'm adding some final tiny minute details to the hair. One thing on the hair, I loved working on her hair, by the way. Gorgeous, luxurious, silky hair. But notice that we can tell that her hair is blonde, even though most of it is actually done in dark brown and black. So that's all light and shadow magic. Has nothing to do with the color. Very much like skin tones, hair color follows the same principle. It has very little to do with the hair color itself and a lot more to do with light and shadow application. So here we can tell, River, please. Here we can tell that the hair is blonde because the most well-lit part of the head actually reveals the true color, but everything else gets hidden in shadow. But lots and lots of fun on this hair. Notice though that I didn't ever color it strand by strand. Occasionally, like especially towards the end, I can bring in individual details with really finely sharpened pencils, but throughout the process I didn't draw out hair by the strands. I treated the hair as one single object, as if I would a veil or a garment or anything like that. Start thinking of hair. That's another thing that will help you guys with likeness and skin tones, because hair is a part of a skin tone. A lot of the hair is reflected on the skin, a lot of the skin is reflected on the hair. What will help with that is treating hair as a garment. Like think of it as she just has a hood over her head. Treat a light and shadow work that way, and then add the individual hair details and the hair highlights afterwards. And here comes my Prismacolor Intruder. This is the first non-watercolor pencil that I'm bringing in, and that is magenta. And the reason I'm bringing that in is because this portrait set, it does have a magenta, but it's a little bit too dark for what I wanted for her lips. And there are bigger sets. I have the small, this is 24 pencils. There are bigger Castle Art sets. Probably there's a link in the description. On the new video, for sure, there's a link in the description for the big set. I have the big set that's non-water activated, the dry Castle Arts set. So I came in with just a little bit, notice just a little bit. I didn't paint her lips with a marker. I didn't bring in a lot of that magenta because I don't want the lips to stand out that much. I just want them to stand out a little bit, just to show a little bit of an indication that she either has a lip color or she's wearing lipstick. In the picture, she's wearing very bright magenta lipstick. In my rendering of this, I made it a little bit more subtle. I'm not a big fan of lipstick in real life. I never wear it, and in my art I also don't really like adding it. But notice that I always treat lips with the same skin color as everything else, and only then I add a little bit of a tint. And of course we can always lighten it with our Prismacolor white. And that's the lips. If you infuse already built lips with a little bit of color, it's a stronger effect than coloring blank lips with magenta. It helped me a lot to think of sections of hair as ribbons or leaves instead of individual strands of hair. That's another really good way of looking at it. Yes, individual segments rather than strands. And that works for drawing as well. When you're drawing portraits, draw out the shape of the hair rather than individual strands. The individual strands thing comes back to a mind trick. If you ever join my academy, you will hear me speak in my actual lectures. I talk a lot about the mindset, and I talk a lot about psychology. There's a lot of psychology in art, and a lot of the mistakes that we make or the wrong ways of doing something, they aren't actually wrong. It's just that we're accessing the wrong part of our brain. We have so much recognition and so much understanding that a lot of times when we sit down to draw, we draw what we think we understand rather than what we actually see. And that's the difference between a pro artist and an amateur artist. And it looks like our show has come to an end. I hope everyone had an amazing time. Let me just take one last quick look at the live chat. The dogs are already bunched up at the door. They say the live stream is over. It helped me. Okay. Kay, that comment is very helpful. Thinking of ribbons or hair instead of individual strands of hair. See, there you go. Excellent. This is why it's so good to be in the live chat. More people join. Sarah Michelle Gellar is gorgeous. She is my all-time favorite actress. Yes, she is beautiful. Beautiful. That's how I say it to River. River loves that word. Beautiful. Her ear perked up. She can only raise one ear. She has one blue eye, one yellow eye, and one ear that stands up. One ear just went up. She likes the story of a beautiful river. Beautiful. So now I can't say beautiful normally. I just always say it like that. Beautiful. Alrighty, everyone. Before I get totally giggly and silly, thank you everyone so much for your super chats. No ads next time. Everyone, join the academy, join the mailing list. Make sure you stay up to date because really big and cool things are coming. And I will keep everyone posted with my email notifications. So thank you everyone so much. Remember to go watch the other video and have a lovely rest of your day. Remember to grab your printout and try coloring Buffy yourselves.